Hello, my friends, hello, and welcome once again to the unhinged Vaughn Manor, where Roger and myself are back once again to talk about something amazing. Yes, the 500 book challenge has gone from something that is hypothetical to an actual real thing. Yes, I am here to tell you today that I am going to be reading 500 books that I already own before I buy any new ones. Madness? Perhaps. Let's discuss this, since this now is something that I am officially going to do. It's officially happening. First, when I made that video a couple days ago, it was just hypothetical. But now it's a real thing. So, CriminOlly's Read What You Own challenge has been perverted and twisted into the 500 book challenge that I'll be doing. The challenge to read a bunch of books that you already own before you buy any new ones. In this case, 500 books. And as I mentioned, this is a very challenging challenge. This is one of, if not the most challenging challenges you'll ever find on BookTube. Perhaps the ultimate BookTube challenge. We'll see. And when I thought of going from 100 books to 500 books, I didn't think anybody else would be crazy enough to join me in this. It turns out I was wrong. After guaranteeing you that nobody else would do this, David Wiley immediately said, "Hey, if you do it, I'll do it." David Wiley, who can never pass up an impossible challenge, has decided that he's going to do it too. So now David and I, okay, we're doing it. And then Sterling Reads, the wonderful channel Sterling Reads, she in a comment said, you know what, I'm going to do this too. So okay, there's another one. And then another Bibliophile Reads, Greg at another Bibliophile Reads, he's pretty made it clear he's going to make an attempt. He doesn't think he's going to be able to go the whole way because he just loves buying books too much, even though he's got a gazillion books. Greg has a gazillion books. He has all the books in all the formats. He could live 15 lifetimes probably, and he would never read all the books he has. But he's on board. So we've got Greg. And then CriminOlly himself is pondering whether he ought to do this. Even CriminOlly himself is like, should I do this? So we'll see. The inventor of the Read What You Own challenge might be on board. We'll see. Now, this is a very challenging challenge. Not everybody's going to make it to 500 books. We will lose some brave reading warriors along the way. Who will fall first? It's a question. We'll see. I feel duty-bound to actually do the entire 500 books because it was my dopey idea to go for 500 in the first place. Also, I failed at this challenge so miserably last year. I can't fail again. It would be too much. It would be too much for me. Couldn't happen. So now that I'm officially doing this for real, what kind of changes, what will this mean? What kind of changes are we looking at here? And what will I actually have to do to accomplish this? Steve Donahue made a video, was it yesterday, where he was just shocked at the whole idea that somebody could even have 500 books that they haven't read. A lot of us do, actually. A lot of us have a lot more than that. Because unlike Steve Donahue, we don't read like machines. Steve Donahue can go through 500 book challenge would be nothing for Steve. He would do it in like an afternoon. But for the rest of us, it's a little bit harder. But we buy books just as quickly as Steve does. So I feel like I've been preparing for this challenge for years. Every book haul has just been in preparation for this. I have a lot of books. I've got literally, even with the books that I'm unhauling, and I'm still unhauling some, and I've got another, I got to ship out some tomorrow, actually. But even with the books that are leaving the manor, that still leaves me with thousands of books to read. I mean, there's just no shortage around here. So it's a very doable thing. The difficult thing will be getting used to not buying new books. Now, I do have a couple books that are pre-ordered. They already pre-ordered that are coming, but I consider those already purchased. I've got the next Elric book. I already ordered that, and I ordered the next book from Brian Lee Durfee, who's a booktuber, so that wouldn't count anyway, but I pre-ordered it. And I think those are the only two that are coming. So those are going to be the last books that are going to enter the manor that I purchased myself. So what will I be reading? Well, let's take a look. My first concern was, well, I've got June on the Range, and I've got CriminOlly's Garb August. Do I have enough books for June on the Range, which is a celebration of Western fiction? Do I have enough Westerns to do June on the Range every month for the next 5 or 6 years? Yes, as a matter of fact, I have a ton of Westerns, like this one by Zane Grey, Last of the Dwaynes. I have a ton of Westerns, so I'm actually set for June on the Range for the next few years. And what about Garb August? Do I have enough trashy books for Garb August for the... Yes. Yes, I have a lot of trashy books. I checked, and I'm good for Garb August for the next 6 years. I've got so much trash to read. So I'll just save the extra trashy stuff for Garb August. Now, there are going to be a couple of exceptions as far as purchasing goes that I should mention. Comic books, I'm not counting. Not even this classic of literature, Sergeant Rock, one of the greatest works of fiction you will ever find, Sergeant Rock. Comics, I am not counting, because even though they are actual books, they've got words and pages. I always thought of comic books as being kind of a different medium. It's a different thing for me. And certainly if DC ever develops any sense and decides to do a Sergeant Rock omnibus, I'm going to buy it. But yeah, comic books are excluded from this challenge. It's just every other type of book other than comics. These are different. So comics are excluded. They don't count when I read them. They don't count if I buy them. Also, I'm going to be excluding books that my friends might write because, as Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads pointed out, you should be able to read books, or you should be able to support your friends when they publish books. So this one will count for the challenge because this is David Wiley's book that I bought before the challenge. But if David Wiley writes another book, I will buy it to support David Wiley. It just won't count when I read it for the challenge. Same goes for just friends like Troy Tradup, who wrote this fantastic book, which I'm assuming is fantastic. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to read it. It's going to be one of my 500 books. But if Troy decides to write another book, I will buy Troy's book because I want to support my friend Troy Tradup. So yeah, but those are the only two exceptions. Everything else, not going to buy anything else for the next however long this takes. Now, I do have a ton to read, actually. There are books that have just been sitting around forever. Like I bought this book a while back and just said I was going to read it, never read it. I have hundreds of examples like this and then there are books that people gave to me, like Justin, my good friend Justin, who used to have a channel. I guess his channel's still up. It's called This Just Out the last time I checked. But Justin, my good friend, gave me this book in the 90s, and I still haven't read it. So there are a lot of books like that. Books that I've gotten years and years and years ago and have just been kind of hanging out, and I haven't read them yet. And of course, I've got the vintage science fiction project. I have hundreds and hundreds of vintage science fiction paperbacks and some vintage science fiction hardcovers that are yet to be read. And so I'm going to read those. I have a bunch of classic books lying around that I haven't read yet, or that I haven't read for decades or whatever. So I have plenty, and that's not even counting what I have on my e-reader. I am going to count the books that I have on my e-reader, and that is a lot. I have everything that H.G. Wells wrote. That's over 50 books, easy. Same with Jules Verne, again, another writer who wrote a ton, another 50 or 60 books there. I'm going to be reading books by H. Rider Haggard, because most of his books I haven't read. Again, another guy who wrote 60 plus books, I think. I have every single one of them. There's so many. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, he wrote a bunch of books that I haven't read. I have all of them. I have thousands of books that I bought for the e-reader that I haven't read yet. I mean, just so many. So as far as reading goes, it's going to be a lot of stuff like that. And I'll be talking a lot about classic authors. And so as far as my channel goes, there has been some concern that my channel would just go to hell, and you know, if I don't do book hauls, then nobody's going to watch my channel anymore. I might lose some people if they're not interested in a lot of the old-timey stuff that I'm going to be talking about, or if they're not interested in straight-up book reviews or the older authors. But if you don't like that stuff, why are you here? And it's possible, you know, but I can't let viewership or how many people watch make my reading decisions for me. I think there's been a little bit of that. I probably bought a lot of books that I didn't have to, just to throw up on book hauls, you know. But yeah, I'm just going to muddle through the best I can and try to make entertaining videos. You know, make dopey videos like I always do, just not a lot of book hauls. And let's face it, there are a lot of channels where you can watch book hauls. So, not so many book hauls here. And if I lose viewership, oh well. I mean, one good thing is that I'm not monetized. So I don't have to worry if, like, I lose 2,000 subscribers or something. That sucks, but it's not like it's a major thing, you know. I will still do this even if there are only a few people watching. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes, but I will do the best I can to entertain you. But, you know, a lot of older stuff going to be showing up here on the channel. William Hope Hodgson, I'm finally going to read everything from William Hope Hodgson. I've got everything, and I'll finally talk about that author. Clark Ashton Smith as well. There are a lot of authors and things I'm going to be talking about in the future. So it should work out okay. But yeah, you might never see a book haul on this channel again. So sorry about that part. But trust me, I got plenty of books and plenty of stuff to talk about. So I think the channel will be all right. And I think I will be fine. I've pretty much made myself used to the idea that no matter what happens in the book world, I will just not buy books until I've read 500 books. I'm just going to concentrate on reading, because I feel like I've concentrated on buying for years and years and years up to this point. So I should be set. I should be set for the challenge. As for David Wiley, Sterling reads, another Bibliophile reads, CriminOlly. Anybody else who wants to take this up, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It'll be an exciting adventure. Like I said, this is one of the most challenging challenges you will ever see on BookTube. So there's that. Okay, guys. Roger might not be happy with this, but, you know, you'll get used to it. You know, you'll just, you know, go along with your other hobbies, like, you know, murdering strangers. You know, he has other things to do. Yeah, and you can join me for other stuff. It'll be a thrill. Okay, guys, that's all I have for today. I will catch you next time.